Thank you very much. How is Ahasha? Thank you. Ahala. 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 Thank you for Ahala for giving me the possibility to explain our cooperative experience. We say experience because an experience never is stopped. An experience always is dynamic. We are changing, and we are going together with this society. Okay, let's go to our presentation. So, be free to ask, to give your opinion, but also to critique, because with the critique we can learn much more than only giving advices or giving questions on that one. Okay, so be free. Okay, Mondragon is formed by 120 cooperatives, and as you can see, most of them are industrial cooperatives. We came from our industrial cooperatives. We have one credit union, one consumer cooperatives, 4 small agricultural cooperatives, 8 education centers, one of these the university, 14 research and development centers, and 5 services cooperatives. Services cooperatives like consultancy, engineering, insurance, catering, so industrial food, so like this one. Why we have 14 research and development centers? Why? I'm sorry, I have to put this one. We have 14 research and development centers because all the industrial cooperatives we have organized in different sectorial groups, like automotive group, components, construction, industrial equipments, domestic appliances, engineering and capital goods, machine tools, and now we have another 5 new sectorial groups. So we have 12 sectorial groups. In each sectorial group, for example, in the automotive group, there are 13 cooperatives, basic cooperatives, some of them 200 people, another 2,000, another 3,000 people, 500 people. And between these 13 cooperatives, they set up the automotive sectorial cooperatives. That it's a second degree, second level cooperatives with a very strong interrelation between them. They put money together, and also they help each other when they have some problems. And also they make the offers together. Or when our clients, General Motors, Ford, Honda, Audi, they wanted to develop a new project, so they wanted to have more products for components for the new car. In this case, from the sectorial cooperative group, we offer them, okay, we can do everything as you want. And after that, we organize, and the A cooperative is going to do the A components, the other cooperative is going to do the B component, the other one C, D, E, F, and so we organize inside together. Okay. 120 cooperatives, and you can see here which kind of cooperatives there are in the industrial cooperatives. This is the first cooperative that started in 1956, Fagor Domestic Appliances, Fagor. Another cooperative, Orona. Well, in this case, Fagor, they were 4,000 workers before, 4,000 worker members. All of our cooperatives are worker members, so most of us, we are members. In the case of Fagor, 100% of them are members because before the economic crisis, there were 4,000 workers. That times they had 10% of temporary workers, so not members yet, because the first year, the first 6 months, 2 years, they are not members. And after 1 year or 2 years, if they are good workers, and if it's possible to give them a stable work, they convert as a member. But that times, before the economic crisis, there were 4,000 workers, 90% members and 10% temporary workers. But when they started with the economic crisis, It was a pity, but this 10% of temporary workers, they had to finish when they had the contract, they had to finish and they had to go home. Also, a lot of people went to another cooperatives, and some of them were retired with a special plan started when they are 56 years old, and at this moment they are only 2,000 workers. All of the members, they don't have any temporary workers, and they are suffering. This cooperative is suffering because the market, the principal market for these cooperatives is Spain. And as you know, in Spain, the construction crisis is huge. In order to understand how much is this, or how is this situation, before the economic crisis, in all the Europe, we built altogether, between all the countries, we built more or less 1,400,000 new apartments, new houses every year, 1,400,000. From these 1,400,000, 700,000 were only in Spain. So 50% of the new apartments in all the Europe were built only in Spain. Today, only 40,000. So the market go down from 700,000 to only 40,000. So at this moment, Fagor is the just unique company in Spain producing dishwashers, washing machine, refrigerators, because Siemens, Bosch Siemens, Electrolux, GE, all of them, they closed down the factories in Spain 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Okay, but Fagor cannot close the company because they are the owners, and we cannot delocate. We cannot close here and everybody go home or go to China. Okay, it's not possible because we are the members and we have to survive. In this case, they tighten the belt. This year they are earning 8% less than the year before, and last year also they reduced another 8%. So they are earning 15% than the others cooperatives inside the group. Okay, and also they were reducing hours, reducing in Christmas. They were working only so less days than in Christmas. They take 10 days without jobs. Also in Easter, and they were from November until March. They were working only 4 days per week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and not in Friday. But in this case, yes, Claudia yesterday told us something about the system, but in this case, the workers gets 100% of the salary. But each one has the hour bank. So if this Friday I don't work, I have minus 8 hours. Next week, if I don't work on Friday, minus 8 hours. If in Christmas I didn't work 10 days, minus 80 hours. So each one has their own hours banks. But I have 100% of my salary. And after that, now for example, they are working full time, so 5 days. But also last month in July and in June, they were working also on Saturday, recuperating all these hours that they lose before. If at the end of the year they can recuperate all the hours that they lose, in this case it doesn't happen anything. But what's happened if at the end of the year I could only recuperate 100 hours, but in my hours bank I have minus 160 hours? In this case, I'm going to lose the 20% of these 60 hours that I didn't work. Okay? The time that I was at home and I couldn't recuperate, I'm going to lose 20%. So I get 80% of my salary for the days that I didn't work. Who pays this money? It pays our own social welfare system and health system that belongs to Mondragon Group. The name is Lagunaro. Another thing is that a lot of people from Fagor went to another cooperatives. In this case, they need new skills, they need to train, they need to recycle their own skills, and in this case, Lagunaro social welfare system pay the training of these people who needs to get the new skills. Also, if these workers who are working in another cooperatives, they have to travel every day 50 kilometers, who pays these mileage or kilometers? Lagunaro pay this money because I have to go every day to this another company. Okay, so this is the way that we try to manage in this kind of bad situation. Okay, in this case, is Fagor in travels. And the feature of Fagor, that is the first, and it was the biggest company, industrial company, the feature is very black. Now we are trying to find a new alliance with another companies in order to produce only the products that are profitable for us. For example, induction system, so kitchen and oven and stuff. We are good enough and with a very innovative sector. But speaking about dishwashers or washing machine, we are losing money. And in this case, the alliance will be that we can produce for us and for another company the oven and the stoves and the induction system, and they produce for us all the washing machine that we need. That it could be one way of doing this alliance. Okay, so we are open, and we are now in this way. And the other alternative is to reduce more. At this moment also, we are thinking to reduce more or less 200 people more in this month. In this month, 200, but in this case, white collar worker. White collar worker, we have to reduce another 200 in this 2 months. Okay. In this case, these people, they are going to pass to another cooperatives, and there is a plan. There are 2 people in the headquarters of Mondragon trying to push or to pass these people to another cooperatives. Okay. Okay. These another cooperatives, Orona, they produce lift, elevators. They are 4,000 workers, and it's going well. They suffer also the economic crisis because before the economic crisis, they were producing 90 new elevators per day. 90 new. At this moment, they are only producing 40, 45, so 50% than before. But they are having profits, and they continue having a lot of profits. Why do you think? Can you tell me why they are having profits? And they are producing half than before. Because the maintenance. Money is doing the maintenance, the service. Producing goods in Europe or in the States is not easy to be profitable. This kind of equipment, this kind of machines, because the salary is very expensive, the energy, the transport, everything is expensive, and in this case, they are not earning money producing new elevators. Only with the maintenance. But it's the same with Otis, Thyssen, with our competitors. Okay? The competitors of Orona all over the world are this one, Otis, Schlinder, and Thyssen, because in Spain, in England, in Ireland, in Netherlands, Orona is the biggest one. Okay? But in this case, they are having profits, all of them, because the maintenance, because the service. So, service is not possible to delocate. I'm sure that the other companies, Otis, Thyssen, and this kind of companies, they can produce in China or wherever, and they can have profits also producing. But in our case, Orona, it's in San Sebastián. It's in San Sebastián, well, Hernani, Guipúzcoa, San Sebastián, 5 kilometers away from San Sebastián. And they are from San Sebastián, and they don't want to produce in another places because, okay, if they are very, very capitalist, they can decide to produce also in China. But they say, no, we can have profits because here the business is only, the best business is with the maintenance, okay? And they don't want to go to another places. This is Orbea. We produce bicycles. And Orbea, they are only 350 workers. And at this moment is the just unique company in Spain. All the other companies are importing and exporting, and they are producing in Portugal and in China. But Orona is the only just one. But Orona has another 2 plants. One of these in the States, in Arkansas, Little Rock, that they produce very expensive bicycle for the American market, more than 3,000 euros per each bicycle, and the most expensive is 10,000 euros, each one, 10,000 euros, like a car, okay? And in the Basque Country, they produce bicycle that it cost more than 1,000 euros until 10,000, okay? And they have another plant in China. In China, they produce very low prices for the Chinese market, and some of them for the European market. But in this case, the strategy is more commercial, it's more design. They design. They have a very good design, a good commercial system. They deliver in only 2 days. They can deliver you the bicycle with your name and with the color that you choose, and that's one. Okay, it's going very well. Ulma Packaging, 900 people producing packaging for the agriculture sector, packaging products, machines. Ulma Agricole, they produce greenhouses. Okay, 400 people. Fagor Ederland is going well. They produce car components, metal car components, aluminium, iron, that's one. And in this case, they are 2,000 people here, and they have another 1,000 abroad. The history of Fagor is, okay, well, they started in the 60s, but in 1990, we had a big discussion between Fagor Ederland and inside the Mondragon group, in the headquarters also, because our clients, General Motors, GM, when they decide to open a new plant in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, the government of Brazil obliged to all these car makers to produce the pieces, most of the pieces in Brazil. It was a very good decision for Brazil. For example, it wasn't the same decision in Mexico. In Mexico, as you know, you can produce wherever. Sorry. You can produce wherever, and in Mexico, you only assembly is the maquiladora. They only maquilas. They only assembly, but all the pieces are produced in the States or in Europe or in Asia. But in the case of so in this case, you can produce some jobs, but you don't add a lot of add values. But in the case of Brazil, they say, okay, no. If you open a new car company, General Motors, you have to apply to all your suppliers to open or to produce in Brazil. We had a hard discussion that times in 1990, and at the end we decided, okay, we have to go with our clients, because our mission is not to earn money. Our mission is to create wealth within the society. To create wealth within the society. How? Through entrepreneurial development and job creation. We need to create jobs in order to create a wealth. But of course, we have to be profitable in order to create a wealth and jobs. And for this reason, in the case of Fagor Ederland, we decided to go to Brazil, because that times they were 500 people, only the Basque Country, 500 people, and with this decision, now they are 2,000 workers in the Basque Country, and another 1,000 in Brazil, Slovakia, and this year they open a new one in China. So there is a problem because overseas, this company, for example, Fagor Ederland do Brasil, is not a cooperative yet. We have a plan. We have already started converting conventional companies in cooperatives in Spain, outside of the Basque Country, but not overseas. And but we have this plan. But in this case, you can see that we create more employment in the Basque Country, and we maintain the clients. There is an PhD. There is an interesting PhD that compare the 34 cooperatives inside Mondragon that are internationalized, that are multi-localized. So they have plants in the Basque Country and overseas. So we say multi-localization. We never speak about the delocalization. Delocalization makes a lot of big companies, but in our case, we never close any factory in the Basque Country, but we open new factories abroad, and for that reason we say multi-localization. And in this case, these 34 cooperatives that are multi-localized, that they have plants abroad, they produce more employment than the other 87 cooperatives that never went to another countries to produce their goods. And in fact, these 86 companies reduce the employment in the last 20 years. And the other 34 increase the employment, and altogether we increase a lot of employment. So we have problems because we are being bigger and bigger, and the multi-localization means that they are very far away. How can we maintain the values? They are not members yet. Yeah, we have this kind of problems, but on the other hand, we can increase the employment in the Basque Country, so we can create wealth inside the society, and also we are creating employment outside. And of course, all these employments abroad should be made it with social responsibility and using ethic methods, and that's one. Okay, so interesting questions about how much we can grow. Okay, another cooperative. And in this case, Fagor Ederland is having much more works than ever, and is being much better than ever, because some of the competitors went down because of the lack of liquidity. As you know, in this financial crisis, the lack of liquidity is very important and is very high. And a lot of companies that are alone, if they have any cash problem, any liquidity problems, they cannot survive. How happens this lack of liquidity? For example, it's easy to understand. If today we have to pay, or tomorrow we have to pay the wages, and this week, for example, this week we have to pay the suppliers, the gross material, or we have to pay to our suppliers. But from my clients, I'm going to get this money next November, because we have a contract with the clients that we are going to get next November. What is the solution? I have to go to the banks asking for cash, asking for liquidity in order to pay tomorrow the wages, the salaries, and the next week to pay to suppliers. And after that, when I get from the clients, I can pay back to these banks. But the problem is that the banks don't give you any money in the last 2 or 3 years. So the lack of liquidity is very important. And for that reason, a lot of companies all over the world went down. And they were good companies before. But because the lack of the liquidity and because they were alone, they couldn't support. We don't have this problem. Yes, we have this kind of problems. But what is the solution? We pass cash or liquidity from one cooperative to the other cooperatives. And at this moment, it's very common to pass this money. Yeah, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to give you this week this money, and next month you are going to pay back me. In this case, the cooperative has to pay the Euribor interest or the Euribor +1. So, but never so much as in the bank. Okay, so it's good for twice, for the company that is asking money, and it's good for the cooperatives who lend money, because they get some interest also. So the intercooperation, and this is the key, this is the core of Mondragon experience. The intercooperation between cooperatives, passing people from one to the other cooperatives. Fagor Nederland has a lot of people from Fagor domestic appliances. Yeah, they have, yeah, there are a lot of people. So we pass people, and also we pass cash, we pass liquidity, and also we pass innovation and knowledge between cooperatives. So the intercooperation is the key. Okay, another cooperatives, they produce, the name is Mondragon Assembly. Mondragon Assembly, they produce assembly lines. They are only 200 people, but they are one of the leaders all over the world, and only being 200 people. They produce, for example, this machine is to produce solar panel, photovoltaic solar panel. So they produce the machines. They don't produce the solar panel. Their clients are BP, British Petroleum, or GE, General Electric, or big companies all over the world. Okay. And this is another cooperative. They buy the solar panel from BP or General Electric, and they install, and after that do the control and the service. Okay, it's a small, this cooperative. Fagor Arrasate, they are 500 people. They produce metal machines, metal cutting machines, presses, and like this one. 500 people. It's going very well. Fagor Electronica is in travels at this moment. They are 350, and last year and this year they are losing money. Okay. It's a cyclics. Okay, cycle. Ulma producing this kind of automatic stores, and that's one. Cooperative also is going very well, better than ever, because the competitors went down. At this moment, it's close to an oligopolio. Oligopoly. So at this moment there are only 2-3 companies all over the world, because a lot of them they went down because the lack of liquidity. Danovat, they produce machine tools. They are the biggest in Spain. Fagor Industria. Okay, in the case of the machine tool sectors, 95% they export to Germany, and at this moment to China also, or to Netherlands, and that's one. But now Germany is stopping, and who knows what is going to happen. So they are thinking that next year it will be not so good. They had 3 good years, and the next 2 years they are thinking that it will be not so good. But it's a cycle. For industrial, they produce an industrial kitchen, 2,000 people, it's going very well. Danone has problems because they produce furniture, and this sector is going bad, and they have to decide, because they are losing money in the last 5 years, they have to decide to close or not to close. But who is going to decide? Mondragon from the headquarters, or Danone cooperative members? Danone cooperative member. The General Assembly of, in this moment, they are only 200 workers in Danone. They are going to set up the General Assembly in order to decide to close or not to close. We can advise them, we can help, or we cannot help them, but it's each cooperative, in this case the General Assembly of these 200 people, who is going to make the decision. Of course, before to make this decision, we plan to relocate all these people in another cooperatives. Okay, that is the way that we normally react. And maybe you have a question on how many companies do you close in the last 4 years in this economic crisis? I can tell you that we closed last year 1 cooperative with 33 workers, and another one in 2010 with 42 workers. So altogether, only 75 people. 75 people in 2 cooperatives. They produce machine tools for wood. Machine tools for cutting wood, very big machine. And this sector is in a very bad situation, all the sectors. They were losing money in 5-6 years. And 2 years ago and last year, they decided to close. Before to close, we do the plan, and some of them went to retire. In this case, it's voluntary. if they are not 65 years old, okay? And the others passed to another cooperatives, and now they are closed. So we didn't have any social problem because all of them are working in another cooperatives, and most of them, probably all of them, are earning more than before. Why? Because they were, in 5 years, they were tightening the belt, reducing 5%, 10%, 5%, 8% every year. And so when they pass to another cooperatives, maybe, probably, they are going to earn more money because in the other cooperatives, they are going in better situation. So it's not a problem for them. Sometimes you can say, who push or who obliges them to make this decision? Is the market and is the situation. If they can earn more money, and if the future in the new cooperatives is better than in our own cooperatives, why not to close? And in this case, it's very rational, very common. Okay, to finish with this kind of cooperatives, URSA. URSA, you can see here, this is the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao. That some of you were visiting. The Guggenheim Museum that is made by these cooperatives, URSA. This is the Winery Museum in La Rioja, Expo Zaragoza, International Expo in Zaragoza, in Barcelona. And now they have already finished a huge central station in Ground Zero in New York, where the twin towers went down. Now they are building a huge, very huge central station for the highway, bus station and train station. And they have already finished, but it's not open. It's not open because it will be open next Christmas, more or less. Now they are finishing the other part, but gardening and that one. But they have already finished this central station. As you can see here, there is not any pillars. There is not any pillars. Okay. The strategy of URSA, of this cooperative URSA, that is in Vitoria, 30 kilometers away from Mondragon, the strategy 15 years ago was, okay, we cannot compete with everyone that can produce normal bridges or normal structure or normal buildings. We can compete, or we are going to do only the most difficult projects. And in this case, we can compete with 3, 10, 20 companies, but not with 2,000 companies. And in this case, they said that all over the world, there are only 3 or 4 companies all over the world that can construct this central station. So in this case, the strategy was to do only the most difficult projects, not the easy projects, and it's going well. Okay, well, in this case, is the strategy that is interesting. Okay, question, maybe.
So maybe the first round of questions. I think we have a lot of issues right now. To be question, please.
Yes. Yeah, from Suma Cooperative.
Your strategy in Mondragon seems now to be to specialise in areas where you can build up specialist knowledge, as you said, with few competitors, and not to try and survive in mass markets where there's a lot of competition making goods which require low level of knowledge and expertise. Is that your strategy, to specialise?
In this case, yes. In this case, yes. But not always it will be possible, because also in the Basque Country there are teenagers that cannot, or that don't want to go to the university, don't want to learn technical studies, and that's one. And in this case, we have to create normal jobs also, not only very add values jobs. In this case, in the case of this company, yes, the minimum studies are technicians, medium technician, we say técnico superior. After the high secondary school, you have to go to a community college for 2 years to do the superior technicians, because the other way is to go to the university for 4 years. Okay. In this case, all these workers have this level. But not everybody can have this kind of level, and in this case, we have to organize and we have to create jobs with not so high add values in order to give the possibility to everybody. Fagor is clever, is clear that Fagor, these cooperatives, producing the washing machine in the assembly line, you don't need special skills, and in this case, everybody can work here. But what is going to happen in the future, because Fagor is going to go down, and we are going to create new projects. We are going to create new projects in these sectors. We are thinking that for the future, it will be interesting to create more and more employment in this sector, but because they will be high add values and will be competitive and stable. In the new energies, means aeolic, windmill system, and also photovoltaic, different kind of, and we are working a lot about the how do you say, battery, the battery fuel cell batteries. Another sector is the health and food for us, together with the technology and biomedicine. Another sector is new information and communication technology, together connected with the wireless, Wi-Fi, satellite system, and that's one. The fourth sector is the third age. So for me, in the next year, for elderly people sectors. And in this case, we are producing special furniture. We are producing also special houses, apartments, and also we are producing residences, and we are managing at this moment 11 residences for elderly people. Okay, so this sector will be in the future very important. And yesterday also we were speaking that the social cooperatives in Italy are very developed, and also now we are entering in this sector, in this social sector, in these social cooperatives. And the fifth sector of the fifth challenge is new materials connected with the electric car, with the aeronautic, and with the railway or train, high-speed trains. Okay, new materials connected with plastic and everything, electronics, and that one. Okay, electric car is very close to the conventional cars, and we are big suppliers of the conventional car, and in the future we hope to be also good suppliers for all these car makers. We have already, I can remember that in 1990 we made 10 cars, only electric cars, 10 of them. One of these is working also today. One of these, only one. Yeah. But these 10 were only not to compete with General Motors, Ford, Renault, was to research about in the energies, in the new energies, to research. And we built 10 of them in order to enter in this sector. That was 1990. And 2 years ago, we made a new car, the city car, that is an electric car, but you can see on the web, and but it's not to compete with General Motors or with these car makers, but it's to prove them that we can do everything, every kind of pieces for the new electric car. So, and that we are close to these projects. And in this case, of course, in most of the cases, the jobs will be very high add values. In the third age, so in the fourth, for elderly people, in this case, there are you need special courses, but it's not very high add values. But in this case, it's possible. But in the others, maybe most of the companies will be very high technology, and in this case, it will be a problem for these people who hasn't got any degrees. Okay, more questions, opinion, critics.
Jaz bi kar v slovenščini vprašala.
I will raise the question in English. is it true that for your cooperatives there is a different legislation than for other companies? And how do trade unions see it? Since here we have a trade union representative. If we did it, he would be put to jail, actually.
Okay, well, in our cooperatives, what is the structure? In our cooperatives, we don't have any trade unions because the structure is based in this figure. Okay, let's go to Fagor Domestic Appliances. 2,000 people at this moment, and they set up the General Assembly. It's 1 people, 1 vote, and they set up at least once a year. Maybe they set up another informal General Assembly after 6 months, to know how it's going the year, and that's one. But they set up at least once formal General Assembly, and in this General Assembly we make the most important decision. We approve the strategy plan for 4 years. Also, we approve the annual report of the last year. We approve also the next annual plan, and also we approve the most important decision, the biggest investment, and if we want to buy a new factory, or that's one. And also we decide in the General Assembly, everybody, how much we are going to increase the salary, or like last year in Fagor Domestic Appliances, how much we are going to decrease the salary, 7%. I can tell you that after voting in a secret way, because it was 2,000 people speaking about to reduce. It was a very hot General Assembly, very hot, and 94% voted yes, we have to reduce 7% the salary. That was in a secret votation. Okay. In this case, if there are some people, always, if there is not any question, and if everybody agrees in general, okay, do you have any question, and if it's not any problem, okay, do you agree? And yeah, we say yes, okay, yeah. But if there are questions, or if there is not anything, something very clear, okay, let's vote raising your hand. How many is in favor of this proposal? And a lot. And how is against this proposal? And if there are only 2 or 3, okay, it's enough. Everybody agree. But if there are 50, or 40, or 30% of no, there are a lot of people who say no. In this, okay, takes paper number 1 or number 2. And yes means to approve, no, and in this case we vote in a secret way. Speaking about this subject, reducing the salary, it was in a secret way, and 94% decide to reduce. Why this one? It's because the transparency is very, very important. Transparency means that every month, and everybody has the, as we say, the monthly collaborators meetings. In each department, they have the meeting, the boss, with all the workers in small groups to speak about how is going Mondragon, how is going the sectorial group, the domestic appliances group, how is going Fagor, and how is going the washing machine that I'm working in there. And inside the washing machine, if I am working in the assembly line, how is going the assembly line. So everybody has all the information and can do the complaints, can speak, and so every month is very important. And because of this transparency, at the end you can accept that 94% of them decide to reduce the salary. Okay, this is the General Assembly, and after that also we choose the Governing Council. We choose the President, Vice President, Secretary, and the other. In this case, they are 12 people. 12 people that are workers, some of them engineers, some of them economists, some of them blue-collar workers. And this Governing Council set up the meeting every month in order to make the decision. But this Governing Council, they choose the General Manager. In the case of Suma, they don't have any CEO, they don't have any boss. Oh, no, I don't know. But in our case, we choose the General Manager or the CEO. And this CEO has, after that, the finance director, people director, production director, marketing director, well, as they need, okay? And all these directors, together with the general manager, propose to the governing council to make this decision or the other decision. And it's the governing council who makes the most important decision, okay? If the decision is very important, for example, in 2005, Fagor decided to buy a new factory in France and in Italy. The name is Brandt. In Italy, San Giorgio. I don't know if you know, San Giorgio, they produce washing machine, dishwashers. San Giorgio in Italy, and Brandt Thomson. Have you ever listened? This Brandt Thomson, the Dietrich. This company, the name is Brandt, they bought in 2005. But the decision, it wasn't possible to make in the governing council. Why? Because the investment of buying this new company, it was more than 25% of the total assets of the company. And we have rated that if the decision is small, it's possible to make the decision in the governing council. But if it's more than 25% of the total asset of the company, this decision should go to the cooperative. For example, to close the company is not made it in the governing council, but in the general assembly, okay? And in this case, I can remember that the governing council proposed, okay, the decision should be made it in a secret way, voting in a secret, and also the decision should be made it by at least 2/3 of the votes, not only 51% in favor and 49% against, because if there are 51-49, so people start fighting against them, and so the decision was more than 66% should be agreed with this proposal, or we have to discuss in another meeting, so that's one. And the last decision was made it by 73% decide to buy, that's a big company in France and in Italy, and there were another 20% who said no, we don't accept, and 12 for that they didn't know anything, okay? This is the conventional organization, but after that also we have the accounting auditor. Accounting auditor is the watchdog committee, is the internal audit. Internal audit that is chosen by the General Assembly in order to audit all the data that the Governing Council and that the General Manager gives to the General Assembly. Of course, after that we have the external audit. Boston Consulting Group, KPMG, Pitt Marwick, these big companies that make the external audit. And after that we have the Social Council. What is the Social Council? It's like the worker committee. We don't have any trade unions, yeah, because it's the General Assembly of all the workers who makes the decision, but we have the Social Council. This Social Council, as you can see, is an advising board to advise the President, to advise the General Manager, and to advise the General Assembly. And before making important decisions, it's compulsory to listen to this Social Council. This Social Council is formed in proportion of how many workers are in each department. They choose this member of the Social Council, except this manager. So there is not any manager. There is not any manager in this Social Council. Only the technicians and the blue collar worker. Okay. This is the worker committee in order to have the feeling, in order to have the opinion about all the workers. Okay? Of course, in the companies that we have abroad, they have trade unions. Yeah? There are trade unions in Brazil, or I don't know, in China, maybe not, I don't know, but yes, in Mexico, and okay.
Milan Medic from Croatia. I'm interested to know what is membership policy in foreign countries when you open abroad company, and if you can explain us, are you distributing a profit? You mentioned something yesterday that worker, when he or she became a member, putting 15,000 euros so asset or something. So how it's go when this money can be withdrawn from the bank, or how it works, please?
Okay. First of all, you were speaking about overseas companies. In overseas companies, yes, we have 77 plants abroad. The picture is old because we have 2 in the States, and the picture is old, but we have 77 production plants abroad with 13,000 workers. Most of them are employees. We have in each one there are 1, 2, 3, 5 members. Most of them from the Basque Country, but some of them also some directors from Brazil or from Mexico or wherever. But in this case, the policy. I told you yesterday something about this one. When in the Congress of Mondragon, in the strategic plan in 2005-2008, we made the decision that in all these plants, we have to apply also the information transparency. So these people every month in China, in Mexico, in Brazil, they have the information meetings every month. In small meetings, and also they have a general assembly, but it's more informal general assembly because they are not members. But they have already the general assemblies once a year. We apply the same style of management that we have here. The style of management should be decentralized, very participative, and promoting the self-management and working in teamwork system. The last one, 5% of results have to dedicate to local development if the company has profits. I can tell you that at this moment, from these 77 companies, 60 companies are losing money. And never we had all the companies having profits. Most of the cases, 50% of them, they were, it's because some of them are new and some of them are in, for example, we have one in Birmingham. And I was thinking that I was in England, no, in Slovenia. In Birmingham, why we have in Birmingham? And they are losing money. They only earned money last year, but before, in 10 or 12 years, they were losing money. But why? Because this Birmingham company is very close to Ford company and designing, because we are not only suppliers and we are not only producers, we design together with our clients. So the designer of Ford or Renault or Audi works together with our designer in order to design. And in this case, in Birmingham, we are very close to Ford. We are losing money. We were, until last year, losing money, but it was interesting because we can design, and after that, the other companies, the other factories can have more profits and more jobs, and that's one. So sometimes it's more strategic than tactic. And in this case, if they are having profits, if they start having profits, maybe they didn't recuperate all the investment that they made, but they have to apply at least 5% of results to dedicate to local development. And the third one said, as a reference, 30% of property should belong to workers. We rated this one in 2005, and we started, I told you yesterday, we started in Poland, Mexico, and in Brazil with 3 pilot projects. And at the end, we couldn't apply this one because this process, it takes 5 years or 8 years. Speaking with the trade union, speaking with the blue-collar workers, with the white-collar workers. And in 2008, start the economic crisis, and these factories start having losses, and we stop it. And now we have already started becoming cooperatives in Spain, in this area, okay, in Spain, outside of the Basque Country. And I hope that in the next years, after the economic crisis, it will be possible to create cooperatives. The problem is that the culture is different. In some places, some countries, it doesn't exist any law, or the law is difficult. Also, in some places to create cooperatives has not a good feeling, good opinion of in the society, and after that, if the company is not going well, you cannot convince people to put money, because in order to become members, they have to put the initial capital. And if they are losing money, they are not crazy or they are not stupid. And in this case, it's not easy to convince. But okay, well, but I hope that in the future will be, and probably, this is my opinion, probably the first one it will be in Brazil. Why? Because in Brazil, that's the one that I showed you before, Fagorrederland. Vale. In Fagorrederland, in this company, they have already 2 years ago converted a conventional company with 800 people in a cooperative. 800 people working with trade unions, and I told to what's your name? To Gora that, for example, it's interesting that the president of the worker committee that before was fighting against Fagor and against the patron and very well. He's a medium technician. He's a designer, not a superior technician. He's designer, and he is working part-time as a designer and part-time as a president. His salary is as a designer, not as a president, because all these president and all these members in the governing council are voluntary. They don't get any money, and they get the same salary than before. But it's interesting that these people is getting a lot of training and very interested, and now, and in most of the cases, the trade union accept, or at least people accept to become a member, maybe because in this way they can assecure the jobs and in the future. Because until now, we never lay off any people in this 56 years. Never. Until now. Who knows? Okay? But, and so that is one of the reasons probably that they want to become a member. And the second one was?
The policy of
profit
and membership fees.
Okay. Well, here we have, where is it? Sorry, here. What are the rules? What are the rules to be part of Mondragon? So each cooperative has, first of course, should be worker-owner cooperatives, and at least 80% of the workers should be members. That is our policy. So it's not possible to be only 5 members and after that 20 or 30 employees. No. At least 80% of them should be members. And the rule are relocation of staff among cooperatives. I told you before that Mondragon it's a very inter-cooperative organization. We pass people from one to the other cooperatives. And what happened with the gross profit? In each cooperative, from the gross profit, they have to put within the sectorial group, remember the automotive sector, construction sector, they have to put between 15 and 40% of the gross profit. They decide. Some of them, they have decided 20%, another 30%. Okay. In each sectorial group. Altogether, they put 20 or 30. Another rule is within corporate funds, so they have to put another 10% in Mondragon Investment Fund. This is to create new cooperatives and to help the cooperatives to create new business. If one cooperative wanted to buy a new machines, this machine they have to pay with the budgets of the company. But in order to create new business, in order to create new employment, Mondragon Investment Fund is going to help them. And also for the internationalization. If one company buy a new factory in Slovenia, in this case, the company is going to put 60% of the investment, and Mondragon Investment Fund is going to help them with the 40% of the investment. And after 2 years or 3 or 4 years, Mondragon Investment Fund is going to leave in order to create new projects. Okay? And they have to put another 2% in Mondragon Education Fund. This is mostly is for the university, because the university is a private university. It's not expensive because the students only pay 33, so 1/3 of the total budgets, and the other budgets should be paid by this education fund and with the jobs that they do, the teachers, with the projects that the teachers do with companies. And they have to put another 2% in the Solidarity Fund. This Solidarity Fund is for compensation in case of losses. If one company has losses, they have to tighten the belt. First of all, they have to tighten the belt. And in that case, they are going to have less than 50% of the losses, never more than 50%. So they have to tighten the belt with the 50% of the losses, and the other 50% they are going to get from this Solidarity Fund. Okay, after that, each cooperative has to pay the taxes, and after paying taxes, we have here the net profit in each cooperative. And how we share, how we distribute this net profit. 10% should go to the Fund of Education, and this is by law. The minimum is 10%. So we send 10% for NGO, or for children, or for sport, or I don't know, for productive projects all overseas, okay? For different NGO, non-governmental organization. This is for the society, 10%. And with the other 90%, what happened? The law said at least 20% should go to the fund or reserve of cooperatives. We think that only 20% is not enough to assure the future, and we send 45% to this fund or reserve. And this fund or reserve is indivisible. It's not possible to share. When the company, if the company in the future is closed down, after paying all the doubts, after paying the suppliers, after paying the wages, we cannot share between us the asset or the or the buildings or the money that belongs to the cooperatives. All this reserve fund should go to the government in order to create new cooperatives. Okay? Well, 45. And after that, we have another 45 that are returns to workers. So in some places, you say dividends. Okay, we prefer to say returns to workers. But in this case, we don't get these returns in our pocket. We capitalize. And we capitalize in our own social account. I'll get this money only when I retire or when I leave the company. If I pass to another cooperative inside the group, I have to pass all my capital to the new cooperatives. Okay? And if I retire, I'll get this money. Okay, it's possible to get this money in most of the cases. We get 25% when I retire, 25% the first year, 25% the second year, and another 25% the third year. So in 3 years, in 4 times, we get all this money. Okay, that is the normal way. The company can reserve this money for 5 years. In order to avoid the decapitalization, it's possible to retain, not to give this money in 5 years. But this is not only for cooperatives, but also for all the companies in Spain. Okay, but that is the way. In the first moment, 25, 1 year 25, second year 25, and third year 25. And because my company is using this money, my company pay me an interest, and I'll get the interest in cash. So, and the interest should be less than 7.5% in cash. But the rule is only if the company has profits, because if the company has losses, it's not possible to share this, to get this interest in cash. Okay? So, at the end of the year, well, in June, we get only the interest of all my own social account. Okay? And I'll get in cash. And here in my own social account, I have also the initial capital that I put it when I started. How much is it? It's 15,000 euros. This year is more or less 15,000 euros. Why is 15,000 and not 1,000 or 100,000? 15,000 euros is the minimum salary in your cooperatives. That is for 1 year. 1 year, the minimum salary. That is the rule, 15,000 euros. And in this case, it's the net money. Okay? So if you enter cleaning, the factory, the first month or the first year, you are going to earn at least 15,000 euros. That is and that is the money that we have to put as initial capital. Of course, in this case, I have in several cooperatives, I have to put in 60 months. So because the rule is to put this money in 5 years, in 60 months, every month from my salary. And another cooperatives, the rule is in 3 years, so 36 months every month. There is another alternative, that is, if you are paying the mortgage, and if you have at least 2 children, it will be a problem to put this money from your salary. And in this case, you can go to Caja Laboral, the credit union of Mondragon, and Caja Laboral gives you this loan, this credit, and you have 5 years without paying any money, and after that you have 10 years paying only the Euribor interest, that is 1% or less at this moment. So you pay only 1% in 15 years, so no 5 years, you have 10 years after to pay back this money. So, and only the Euribor interest, only 1%. So money is not a problem. This is not a capital society. This is a people society. People is the core and not the capital. For that reason, we never say human capital, social capital, capital, God. People department or human department, and we never say social capital. No, social potential or social empowerment or social things, but capital is only a resource. Okay? And in this case, this money, it's important, but it's only a resource. There is also an special things that these 45 returns to workers, it's not only for members, it's also for temporary workers or for employees, because employees help us to have these profits. And for that reason, the returns to workers is not returns to members. In Spain, the Spanish cooperative law said returns to members. And after that, the members decide to share between employees or no. In the case of the Basque cooperative law, that is more progressist, say returns to workers, because workers help us to have these profits, and we have to share this profit between all of us. And in this case, it said at least 25% of the profits should go to the temporary workers. So if I am a member, and your name, sorry? Gora is not a member yet. He's working, but he's not a member yet because he started 1 year or 2 years ago. In this case, if we are in the same employee, in the same job, in the same level, if I get 10,000 euros at the end of the year because we have these profits, Gora is going to have at least 2,500 euros. In this case, Gora is going to take in his pocket, and in my case, I'm going to add to my own social capital. Okay? If we have losses, sometimes we have to reduce the salary, and also sometimes we have to put this capital. We have to capitalize the company. In this case, Gora don't have to put any money because he's not a member. I have to put this money, but probably Gora is going to lose the job, probably, because he's not a member yet. Okay? But he hasn't got to put any money. Okay. What is solidarity compensation? Solidarity compensation means that the differences between the minimum salary and the maximum salary is more solidarity than in another companies. It's not like in Suma, because yesterday we could listen that in Suma all of them in England, isn't it? In England, they are having the same wage altogether. In our case, no, we have differences. Okay, that maybe is the best ideal cooperatives, that's true. But being 3,000 workers, 40,000 in Eroski, that is the supermarket, they have 40,000 workers. And in Fagor, 4,000 before, today 2,000. In different cooperatives, some of them 8,000, 2,500. It's not easy to maintain this philosophy. It will be wonderful, but we had, I told him yesterday that we have one company producing the boot, doing this kind of panels, and that's one. They are only 60 people, and they have this policy because each cooperative can apply, can decide their own statute and their own philosophy. Inside, for example, they cannot pay more than this level as we have, okay? But paying less is possible. And in this case, that cooperatives until 1992, they have the same wage for everyone, 60 people. So, but they had the CEO, the president, and also marketing director, finance director, and that's one. And every month or every 2 or 3 months, the president or the CEO comes to Mondragon telling, okay, this week my marketing director is going to go to another places or is going to pass to another cooperative because we have a very close relation. A lot of courses, a lot of training together between different cooperatives, and these people who is very clever people and he's being the managing director, finance director. Sometimes they have another possibility to go also inside the group, and we have every month, every 2 months a lot of problems. And in 1992 we proposed then, okay, you have to do different things because it's not possible every month changing the manager, changing people. And in that case, they put it inside in the General Assembly. They approve the differences between 1, 2, 3. Is the just unique company that they have this rule, that is 1, 2, 3. So the CEO can earn 3 times more than the minimum salary. In most of our cooperatives, the differences are between 1 to 4.5 times. Okay, 1 to 4.5 times, 4 times more the minimum salary. And there are 6, 7 cooperatives that the maximum is 6. Speaking in absolute terms, it's 6 times the maximum salary. In relative, it's 9. But in absolute terms, it's 6 times. So the CEO of the Caja Laboral, the credit union, that is the second biggest bank in the Basque Country and the third biggest in the north of Spain, he's earning 6 times the minimum salary. In the market, 100 times or 400 times. That is our situation. Okay?
Okay, so I'll just small reminder. We are now going a little bit further than the halfway through. So please, if there are 1 or 2 questions, and that's it, and then we go further on.
Yes,
please.
Okay, it's Bob from Suma again. Your management structure is remarkably similar to ours. We have different names, but we do all those same functions, but in different ways. And it seems to be common for worker-owned and controlled businesses that you come up with the same governance processes. Might have different names, but it does the same job. Interestingly, we don't have a social council yet, but we're discussing having one at the moment, in fact. So it's interesting that we felt the need to have a social council for shop floor workers to watch what their representatives are doing when decisions are being taken. We have used the trade union to do that. 80% of SUMA members are members of the trade union. We had to find a union that was sympathetic to worker co-ops. The big unions were very hostile and didn't understand us at all. And we found a small food workers union who were very pleased that we were a workers cooperative, and they use us as an example to some of their other employers to say, you can run a food business with good terms and conditions and good safety. SUMA does it, so can you. And we have used the trade union meeting to keep watch on the terms and conditions of working in SUMA, because one of the problems in a small workers' cooperative is self-exploitation. In a group, the different co-ops are watching each other, but in one small standalone worker cooperative, it's too easy for people to simply work themselves to death to try and keep themselves in a job. And we have had lots of problems with people doing unpaid overtime and having to be told to go home because they're so desperate to make the business a success. I mean, the business is a success, but people, because fear makes people think, I can never do enough, I have to constantly do more. So it's very interesting that we do the same sorts of things, but in different ways.
Mm. Well,
can I just prolong the question and then
after we are going to watch the video.
Thank you, Mikel. I would like, in the name of audience, in fact, ask you for one interesting question which you already presented to us earlier on. Namely, what is the minimum wage, let's say, in netto and brutto value in Mondragon, let's say in Fagor, which is home appliances and is similar to our Gorenja, let's say, in terms of production. And what is, let's say, this cost for superior technician? Because here in Slovenia, employers would normally claim that we have too expensive labor force, that we have this. So because you are very comparable in terms of industrial sectors, what are the wages there?
Okay. The wages in our cooperatives, speaking of blue-collar workers, are higher than in the market. 8-10%. That is the rule, more or less. It should be higher in order to also to prove to the others or to show to the other workers also that it's possible to increase the salaries in order to be to have a better life, but also in order to motivate more and in order to, because we are the owners, and that's one. In the case of speaking of money, the minimum is 15,000 euros. So the person who start cleaning earn 15,000 euros per year. But in Fagor domestic appliances, the minimum, and that is the normal in most of the cooperatives, is the minimum is, speaking in net money, 1,300 euros per month per 14
months.
14 months, okay? So it's 13,000 euros per 14 months, because we have 14 payments, okay? That is
and the tax burden over this is...
no, this is net. This is net.
So tax burden is around 60%.
Maybe it should be 2,000 or more or less, but this is the net. In Fagor domestic appliances, okay? But for example, in the residents, in the residents who are working with elderly people is less, because there they have another rule, because they have the rule for these residencies, for all the residencies in all the Basque country. In this case, it's bigger. Okay. How much is the?
For the superior technician, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. The median in our cooperatives is net. Net 18,000 euros per 14th. This is the average. The engineer, when you are an engineer or an economist or a sociologist, when you enter earning this one. And at this moment, there is a big problem in Spain, because in Spain there are, in most of the companies, there are a lot of mileurista. Mileurista means 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 euros, 1,000 eurista. So people that finish the university, that they are earning only 1,000 euros. That is very common. But in our case, no. In our case, the minimum when you enter to work is this one, because you have to have dignity. Net. Yes, and per 14 payments. Okay. Yes. Okay, well, let's go to watch the video. Okay. Let's go to watch the video. It takes only 15 minutes.
Welcome to Mondragon Corporation, a business group defined by a cooperative approach to labour and by its mission of service to customers and society at large. The Mondragon Corporation began trading in the town of Mondragon thanks to the drive of an exceptional individual, José María Arizmendiarrieta, the inspiration and dynamic force behind our cooperative experience. His first project was the founding in 1943 of the Professional College, a source of skilled technicians for local companies. In 1956, 5 young men from this centre, guided by Arizmendiarrieta, founded Ulgor, now Fagor Electrodomésticos, the embryo of the corporation. New cooperative companies would subsequently emerge, with a highlight being the creation in 1959 of Caja Laboral, a savings bank that has played a key role in our development. Eroski, now one of the foremost groups in the Spanish distribution sector, was created 10 years later in 1969. Bringing the curtain down on an extremely fruitful decade for the creation of cooperative companies, which would find continuity in subsequent years. Mondragon's mission is expressed in its corporate values: cooperation, empowerment, innovation, and social responsibility. Its cooperatives have been acknowledged by organisations both at home and abroad for their business management and their sense of social responsibility. Today, Mondragon Corporation is the largest business group in the Basque Country and the 7th largest in Spain, with manufacturing subsidiaries in 5 continents. Mondragon bases its growth on an active and supportive employment policy driven by innovation in all corporate areas, the development of new activities, and international projection. Technological innovation is a mainstay of our development, being a key factor in the competitiveness of our companies and in the creation of skilled labour. It is based largely on a corporate technology and science plan, on a network of technology centres, with Ikalan as a historical referent, and on the operations of the Polo Garaya, which interweaves the work of technology centres, companies, and higher education. The promotion of new activities and jobs is an intrinsic part of our corporate DNA. The cooperative's traditional promotional role is now compounded by the dynamising role of the Corporate Development Centre, whose remit is to provide support for new activities, preferably in advanced sectors. International projection, which began in 1966 with the export of products, became extremely dynamic from the 90s onwards, with the setting up abroad of numerous manufacturing subsidiaries. Mondragon Corporation is organised into 3 basic areas: financial, industrial, and distribution. The financial area comprises Caja Laboral and Lagunaro, with their associate companies. Caja Laboral, immersed in a far-reaching expansion plan, is characterized by its commitment to customer service and the offer of specialized financial products for businesses and private individuals, being especially active in mortgages and savings products. Its ample experience with the corporation's cooperatives means that it can offer SMEs the typical services usually reserved for large companies. Within the sphere of quality, it has been awarded the Golden Q in recognition of business excellence. Lagunaro, a social welfare cooperative, provides healthcare cover for worker members and covers the long-term benefits for pensions, widows and widowers' pensions and disability pay on a complementary basis to those of the Social Security. These benefits are guaranteed by the return obtained from the management of the endowment fund. Industrial operations of Mondragon encompass the following: consumer goods, capital goods, industrial components, construction, and services to business. Consumer goods. Mondragon produces white-line domestic appliances, fridges, washing machines, ovens, and dishwashers, occupying a position of leadership in Spain and France, with growing deployment in Eastern Europe. It also provides a broad range of office and household furniture for different settings. In leisure and sport, it manufactures bicycles, fitness equipment, and camping, garden, and beach items. Capital goods. Mondragon is Spain's leading machine tool manufacturer in metal cutting and sheet metal forming. Its products are designed for the automotive, domestic appliance, steel, railway, and aeronautics sectors. Its offer is completed with automation and control products, packaging systems, machinery for timber processing, and the automation of assembly processes, forklift trucks, electrical transformers, complete installations for the hotel and catering sector, especially for the automotive sector. It produces a wide range of dies, as well as molds and tooling for steel and aluminium casting, and it occupies an outstanding position in machinery for foundries. Industrial components. Mondragon is an integral purveyor to the world's main car manufacturers, catering for design and development through to industrialization and the provisioning of components and assemblies. It is structured into business units for brakes, axles, suspension, transmission, engines, aluminium wheels, fluid conduits, and other internal and external components, using a broad array of technologies for metal, plastic, and rubber materials. It also produces components for makers of domestic appliances, focusing on the three main areas of business: white line, household comfort, and electronics. In addition, it casts and manufactures valving for the energy and petrochemical sector, flanges and fitting products, and copper and aluminium electric conductors. Construction. Mondragon has a significant presence in the construction sector, being involved in the development of landmark buildings and major works of infrastructure, both at home and abroad. It designs and manufactures major structures in wood and laminated timber. It supplies prefabricated parts in polymer concrete. It offers solutions for forming and structures, as well as machinery for public works. And it contributes to the industrialization of the construction process, including engineering and assembly services. Mondragon also responds to exacting demands in vertical transport and lifting systems, applying the latest technologies in the use of space, safety, and energy saving, providing a comprehensive customer service. Services to business. Services to business comprises different services of business consultancy, architecture and engineering, property consultancy, design and innovation, and also provides its know-how in the field of integral logistics engineering. In addition, it offers a modern languages service, manufactures teaching materials, and undertakes dynamic operations in the graphic arts sector. The Eroski Group, a prominent Spanish operator in distribution, is extending its business throughout Spain and southern France. It maintains close ties with the French Intermarché Le Mousquetaire Group and with the German distribution leader Edeka. Since 2002, they have combined to form the international alliance Alidis. The group's development involves proprietary workers and consumer members, with both taking part in
let me show you in 3 minutes how is Mondragon, in order to understand. So, imagine a table, and on the table there are the cooperatives. You can imagine this one. And on the table there are the cooperatives with a very high intercooperation, passing people from one to the other cooperatives, putting money together, passing knowledge, and that's one. And this, all these cooperatives are supported like a table by 4 legs. The first leg is the educational pillar, the educational leg. We started from 1943 with the school. Now we have the university also, and we have another schools. And one journalist, a journalist in 1970, rated that the Mondragon cooperative experience, it's an economic movement that utilize the education for its development. And Father Mandiarrieta say, okay, it's not bad, but it will be much better to say that Mondragon cooperative experience, it's an educational movement that utilize the economy for its development. So the economy is only a resource. The education of the people, of the community is more important, and that is the key. Okay, the first leg is the educational leg. Another leg is the social welfare and health system. We have created our own mutual, Lagunaro. Another important key is the financial pillar, Caja Laboral, the credit union. And after that, in order to assecure the future and not depend from the American or Japanese or German companies, we have to set up our own research and development center. So Mondragon is an integral system that help each other and is supported by these important legs. And in the case of the research center, we have 14. Okay? So this is one of the interesting things. And after that, only to explain on the program was to speak something about the Caja Laboral, only to mention Caja Laboral has 2 kinds of members. The cooperatives that create Caja Laboral in 1959, but also the workers. So Caja Laboral is not like another credit union that in there the workers are employees. In our case, the workers are also part of the projects. But in the case of the governing council, 8 belongs to the cooperatives and 4 are worker members. So they have only 1/3, the workers have only 1/3 of the power in the governing council. Okay? But they are part of the projects. Okay, well, and after that, only to say you, Caja Laboral has 1,002,000 customers, 2,000 at this moment, 2,000 workers that are members. They have the cost income, so this is as less is much better. They have to spend only 43 euros per each 100 euros that they get from people. They spend only 43 euros because in general in banks it's more than 50 euros per each 100, so more than 50%. Another thing is total assets. Total assets of Caja Laboral is 20 billion euros. The total GDP of Slovenia is 36 billion. So only Caja Laboral has more than half, so 21 total asset. The total asset of Mondragon is 33 billion euros of Mondragon. Okay, that is more or less the same than Slovenia. Okay, the core capital in Caja Laboral, the core capital is 11.59. In Spain, they are having problems because most of the banks has only 8% or 9% core capital. In this case, you can see that it's much better. And the solvency is also 12%, 19. That is much better than the other banks in Spain. And this is defaults. Defaults is only 3%, 17. Defaults that people don't repay the money. Okay, this is caja laboral, okay? If you need anything specific, but after that, Eroski. I'm going to explain, and after that you can come back. Eroski, the supermarket, has also this organization. There are two kinds of members. Consumer, like me, we are the members, but also the workers in Eroski are the members. And in this case, it's 50-50 because in the governing council, 6 are consumer and 6 are worker members. Okay? And also this one is specific because, as you know, in most of the consumer cooperatives, only the consumer are the member and the workers are employees. And if some of the workers become a consumer member, they can go to the General Assembly as a consumer, and they cannot be in the governing council because they are workers, okay? But in our case, we try to put in the balance, the workers and the consumer. In the case of Caja Laboral, the banks and the workers, okay? Okay, this is Eroski, and they are more or less 42,000 workers. 42,000 workers. It's the third biggest company in Spain. They are suffering because in the Basque Country, they are having profits because in the Basque countries, they have a lot of small supermarket, only food. And it's going well because everybody needs to eat. Yeah, but in the hyper supermarket, in the big supermarket, that most of them are in Spain, in this case, they have food and non-food. And because the economic recession now is not easy to sell anything except the food, and they are having problems. It's the same like as Carrefour. Carrefour company, it's a French company that is the biggest also in Spain. They have only hypers and they are losing money. Because in the hyper they have food and non-food. And non-food is nothing at this moment. So they are losing money because they non-food. Okay, well, as you can see, Mondragon is not a paradise. We have problems also. We are having profits altogether, but some of the cooperatives are in troubles. Mondragon University. Okay, well, the school centers. We have 8 school centers, but Mondragon University is formed by the engineering school, the business and administration school, pedagogy and humanities school, and the Basque Culinary Center that is a gastronomy school. It's a new one. We started last year in San Sebastian with the Basque Culinary Center that it's in order to be in the balance between the philosophy and the stomach. Okay? The gastronomy, and it's a degree. It's the only one gastronomy university that has also a research center inside, because there is one in Italy and a small gastronomy center, but they don't have the research centers. Okay, well, these four cooperatives, they set up Mondragon University as a second level cooperatives, and they pass teachers between them. And after that, we have another professional and technical schools like Leartibai, Chorierri, but also another Mondragon Lingua foreign languages school center. And the last one is Arizmendi, a school for children from 0 to 20 years. In all of them, there are 3 kinds of members. What do you think that are the members? Not the people who went to Mondragon, but who are the members? In Mondragon University, in the engineering school, for example, who are the members? Can you tell me? Who? Teachers? Students? And? Companies. Okay. Worker members. So worker members are teachers plus the staff. Not only teachers, also the staff, administrator, and other. User members that are the students. In the case of Arizmendi, that are children, in that case are parents. But in the case of the students of the university, because they are more than 18 years old, in this case, the user member are the students, and collaborator member are the cooperatives, but not only cooperatives. We are open, and also there are conventional companies and the municipality, and also individual, and always being together and being in the balance between the workers and the clients. Okay? Well. Yes.
My name is Irma. I would like to ask if the university serves the members of the Mondragon, or is it open to the others?
No, it's open. It's open. It's open to everybody. Most of them are Basque students, but it's open. In the master degrees, in the PhD degrees, there are people from South America and from Poland, and for example, or wherever, from Italy, wherever. Yeah, it's open. Yeah, and we don't have any special. I can tell you that my child couldn't go to this university. He tried to, when he finished the high secondary school, he tried to go to the engineering school to do this industrial design. And in this career, the minimum score in the high school was 8. He had only 6, and he couldn't enter in this school. And he had to go to another places, to another university. So we don't have any special rules and any special condition. Everybody can enter. In mechanic, in electronics, in telecommunication, they don't have these numerous clauses. Because with only 5, everybody can enter. Because in the Basque Country there are less children, less teenagers than before. Yeah, but in this case, in the industrial design, also doing teachers, and also in another career that it's a new one in gastronomy. Also, there is this barrier because not everybody can go, and also in the lane is the leadership and entrepreneurial innovation career. It's a new career that started 4 years ago, and for these 4 or 5 careers there is not everybody can go, only the best students. Okay, but from wherever, not only from the Basque Country. And okay, now we are open. Okay, well, sorry, going back to these different groups. Lagunaro, I told you before that Lagunaro is the welfare and health system. And in this case, Lagunaro provides us with the health system because I can choose the doctors, I can choose the hospitals. In Spain and in the Basque Country, the health system is good enough, but the problem is the waiting list. You have to wait. If it's not your heart, or if it's not a cancer, you have to wait a lot. But in this case, we can choose the doctors and we can choose the hospital. It's the co-payment. We have to pay only €9 per each consultant, but I don't have to wait any list. So it's a very nice system. Also, Laguna provides me with, if I am sick, I have 80% of my salary from the first day. And for example, if we compare with the other system, with the Spanish social security system, if I am sick, the first 3 days I don't have any salary, and I start after 4 days, but earning only 60% of my salary. In our case, we have from the first day 80%, and after 5 months, I start having from 80, I pass to 90%. In the case of the conventional social security system, they start the first 3 days nothing, after 4 days only 60%, and after that they pass from 60 to 75%. In our case, from 80 to 90%. So we have our own system, and it's much better for us. Okay, and also Laguna provide me with the unemployment. If I am unemployed, before to go unemployed, before to go home, we try to pass to another cooperative, but if I have to go home, I have 80% of my salary for 2 years. If I have to stay 2 years at home, after 2 years, I have to come back to my cooperatives, and another member should go to the unemployment situation. Okay? That is to avoid the lack of, or to lose my skills. Because if I am 2, 3, 4 years without any jobs, I'm going to lose my skills. And in this case, after 2 years, never happened, because everybody after 1 month, after 1 week, they start working in another cooperative. But if I have to be 2 years, after that I have to come back, and another goes to this situation. And another also provide me with a pension. When I retire, I'll get the pension from the Spanish Social Security, and as a complementary system, I'll get the pension from Lagunar also. So people in our system is very well, the pension is very high and people is very happy, okay? For that reason, we have these 4 legs, the educational legs, but also the social welfare and health system. And after that, Ikerland. I told you before something about Ikerland, but on the TV, on the video. Ikerland is a research center. It's a research center that is more, they research in order to applicate in the companies. In all these research centers, we have 1,300, so 1,300 scientists, researchers in these 14 research centers in order to help the cooperatives. Okay, in this kind of cooperatives, I don't know if I have here. Okay, but in these cooperatives, the organization is. One third of the power in the research center, in the research and development center, 1/3 belongs to the scientists, to the workers, worker members, and 2/3, 66%, came from the members, from the companies. Not only for cooperatives, most of them from cooperatives, but also they have some. There are because in this case, 2 of our research centers are open, and in this case they came from another companies. But in the other 12, all the members are cooperatives and also the workers. And in the governing council, there are it's 10 people who is coming from the cooperatives and 5 people who are worker members. So in this case also, these scientists are part of the projects. That is one of the ways in order to maintain, to remain inside the group. As you know, one of the problems, if we don't pay a lot compared with other companies, the problem is the turnover. The people prefer to go to another places in order to earn more money. But in this case, a lot of scientists are part of the projects because they are because they can vote, they can say, they can critique. So not only money is important. In this case, to be part of the project, can you remember the Maslow pyramid need? The Maslow pyramid need means that most of our workers are on the top of the pyramid on the self-actualization. And so people prefer to earn less money, but being part of the project. Okay, going to... No, where is it? Going to Alecop. Alecop is an interesting company. Alecop it's a company formed by students. Okay, maybe you cannot see here. Okay, well. Alecop, it's an, sorry, in the 60s, not everybody could go to the university. And for that reason, Father Menderita philosophy was to democratize the power, we have to share the knowledge. To democratize the power, we have to share the knowledge. And for that reason, he created Alecop, the students' cooperatives that do this kind of jobs inside the factory. And with the money that they earn working part-time, working 4 hours per day, with this money, they can afford the tuition of the university. So in Mondragon areas, everybody could go to the university. It doesn't matter if you are rich or not. For that reason, to democratize the power, we have to share the knowledge. They produce, one of the businesses, they produce this kind of machines that is to teach in the technical schools, in this case, to teach how it works a car, or mechanic, the machine tools, different machine tools, telecommunication pieces, control and regulation systems. This is, it's a factory, as you can see, it's a factory. And they have another business that is not going so well, that is, they produce cables. cables for the domestic appliances. But now their competitors are from Turkey and from China, because there they are working part-time, and they work only 4 hours per day in 5 days, so 20 hours per day, and they are more or less 600 euros per month. 600 euros per month, working part-time. Students. But in Turkey, for example, they are working 10 hours per day and also working on Saturday, so 60 hours per week, 60 hours per week, the others only 20. So they work 3 times more than in Alecop, and they are earning 3 times less than in Alecop. So it's not possible to compete. So in this case, Fagor, for example, Fagor that needs this kind of cables, they buy from another companies, because always the rule is the best quality, the best price, and the best service. If another companies, not cooperatives, give us better quality, best service, and better price, we can buy from them. Of course, the same quality, price, and service, we prefer to buy from cooperatives, but the rule always is this one, okay? Okay, well, this is Alecop. Sayulan, to finish, Sayulan, it's an incubator company. Sayulan try to create incubation. I'm going to put, well, we are part, and this is the business plan. So they take the idea, they have the idea, or maybe the new entrepreneur has the idea, or maybe in the incubator, in the basket, ideas give the idea, and we do this, we do the business plan together, these new entrepreneurs, together with the coach that are in Sayulan. They do the market study, they do the technological study, they do the economic study, but that is the differences between the other companies. They do also the prototype, and they put the products in a real market before launching. After that, they launch. If the prototype was positive, they launch, and after that, they create new companies, or maybe some these new products enter inside our cooperatives group, in one of the cooperatives. Mondragon has this kind of incubator in order to create new jobs, in order to create more add values. And to finish, you were thinking also about the LK's consultancy. LK is a consultancy, we can see here. Okay, well, in this case, let's go to corporate. In LKA, they are more than 1,000 workers in the engineering and consultancy. And the products, they have areas of activity: management consultancy, technology consultancy, lawyer advices, architecture and engineering, real estate consultancy, and design and innovation. So, and most of them, this architect, this engineer, most of them are members of the company, and it's going very well. So, it's only to prove you that it's possible to work in a cooperative and working in different sectors, and it's possible to be profitable and suffering also, like everybody, but it's possible to be competitive, and it's possible everything.
Just a short question. This cooperative is the cooperatives that used to consult if some companies would like from abroad transfer them from the to become a cooperative. Is that right? Because in Slovenia is quite a lot of interest now from the workers to buy and to start to transform. Is this the cooperative that can help in that case?
Yes, in this case, if some company wanted to become a member, or if one new entrepreneurs wanted to create a cooperative, in this case, okay, first of all, it will be question me, and we can have some relation. But if after that they need more helps, I cannot come here every month because tomorrow I have to go to Australia and after that next week to Manchester. So it's not possible to come here more than twice. I have been last year here, last year or 2 years ago. Last year I have been here and also today, but more is not easy because we have to go to another places. And in this case, it's LKS who can help because it's a consultancy. In this case, you have to pay. In this case, you have to pay because it's a consultant, yes. But they offer this kind. They have, as you can see, they have they have places in Madrid, Catalonia, Andalucía, Aragon, Cantabria, but also in Costa Rica, the Republic and Dominica, Mexico, Chile, Colombia, Uruguay, India, and China. So they don't have here, but why not in the future also? Or maybe you can be part of this project. Why not? Okay, question, opinion.
Okay, so I think there are plenty of questions. I do think that we have 5 or 6 minutes more, and that doesn't mean that I will steal your coffee. There will be still coffee waiting for you, but please, let's take some questions, and afterwards, Mikel will be here for the whole day, so let's take questions. The first is there, the second,
you spoke about intercooperation. Beside the internal regulations which you have to do that, do you have any, you could say, legal support for this from the state or from the Basque country? How it is done?
In order to do the intercooperation, okay, the rule is in each cooperatives they have to approve and put in the statute, in the internal statute, that we are part of Mondragon group, and in this case we can pass from one to the other cooperatives, and also in Mondragon group we have rated that 120 cooperatives are part of, and this one cooperatives are part of Mondragon, and we can pass people from one to the other one. So in this case it's possible, and because the system is it's like your research center, isn't it? You are in there. If Fagor asks you to do a project, in this case, you came here to work for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, in order to do a service, and after that we are going to pay you to your research center for your service. That is the rule. The rule is very, very easy to understand. So you give us a service. We say en comisión de servicio. It's so giving a service, and in this case, so maybe you can do the project from your research center, or maybe you can come here to do this project for us. In this case, we pay you, and there is not any problem. It's a normal relation, commercial relation between companies. We don't have any legal problems.
What I was also thinking about is that you were talking about this gathering the funds in terms of percentage. Mm-hmm. Do you have any legal ground for that, or is it internal issue?
Legal rules. Speaking about this one.
Yes. Do you have any legislation done by the state or somebody?
No.
Or it's just everything is internal?
Okay. We have, I didn't tell you, but that between all the cooperatives, all these 120 cooperatives, we set up the Congress of Mondragon. The Congress of Mondragon is not set up by 100,000 people. It's set up by 650 members from all the cooperatives, according to how many workers are working in each cooperative. And this Congress approved this rule. And after that, going to these rules, that are the internal rules, but also speaking about law, there is only this rule. At least 10% should go to the fund of education from the net profit, and at least 20% should go to the net profits, to the fund of reserve for cooperatives. But after that, we don't have any another rules. And another rule is, if the company has losses, it's not possible to share the interest of the capital. But after that, there is not another rules. We have to pay the taxes, like others. And this internal, here in the top, we can say this internal decision are our internal decision. And in this case, the rule is at least 20% and we send 45%. Well, it's much better for the company to assure the future. So in this case, we capitalize the returns, is much better. The problem in most of the companies, in most of the cooperatives all over the world is, if the rule is only 10% to the fund of education and only 20% to the fund of reserves, the other 70% goes to the pocket. They send to the pocket. But after that, what happened with the problems? And in this case, it's much better to put inside the company in order to assure the future of the company. And in this case, there is not any rules against these ways.
First of all, as for university, can you tell us what is that 1/3 for students of fee? Does the state also co-finance the university since it is a private university? And second question relates to the rules of the cooperatives. Since it has been more than 50 years since it was established, have these cooperative rules changed anyhow? And another question, how about the votes? Can more shares mean more votes? Or is it 1-to-1, as we know is true in Raiffeisen? My name is Goras Paule.
So 1-to-1, one people, one vote, and I can deliver another vote. If tomorrow I cannot go to the General Assembly because I'm sick or I'm in another country, I can tell to Gora. Gora, are you? He's not a member yet, so I can tell to Tadek, are you going to go to the General Assembly? Yes. In this case, can you deliver my vote? And in this case, he can have 2 votes. The legal rule is 1 plus another 2, but in most of our cooperatives is 1 plus 1. Okay. Speaking about
tuition fee. Tuition fee. How much do the students pay for
the tuition in the university? The tuition in the different currencies goes from 4,000 euros per year to 5,500. So most of them from 4,000 to 5,000 euros. Yes, it's a private university, and they don't have any help from the government. Only when they invest in new buildings, they have more or less 8-10% to invest in new buildings, but not for the normal budgets. And in this case, the students pay 4,000, 5,000, depending the career, and after that is the Mondragon from this 2% of Mondragon education, and from the jobs, from the works or projects that the teachers do in different companies. Yes. And if we change the rules, in the last year, so well, we are changing, but not a lot. For example, the minimum until 1991, the minimum people to create a cooperative was 5. In 1991, it changed the law. It changed to only 3. 3 people to create a cooperative. And in 2010, only in the Basque Country, because the Spanish cooperative law, it's a copy of the Basque cooperative law. We push the Basque government when was created in 1982, was created the Basque government, the Basque Parliament. We push to all the political parties to approve, and it was in fact the first law that the Basque Parliament approved in 1982, after the Franco died. And in this case, they approved the first law, and was the Basque Cooperative Law, and that was 82. In 84 was made it the Spanish Cooperative Laws, General Spanish Cooperative Law, and it's a copy of the Mondragon or of the Basque. And after that, all the statutes made it in Catalonia, Galicia, Andalusia. Most of them are a copy of the Basque Cooperative Law. it's changing, but not a lot. But in the Basque Country, 2 years ago, it changed, and in order to create a cooperative, it's possible with only 2 people. 2 people, but after 5 years, they have to be 3, at least 3 people. They say cooperativas pequeñas, small cooperatives. The law of small cooperatives is possible with only 2. But the other rules, it doesn't change a lot. No, it's more or less the same.
Okay, I will take now the last question. Of course, because of the time frame. If there is no more question, okay, I will wait for 2 more seconds. Okay, please.
I would like to know, how is it seen, Mondragon, in your society? Is it a privilege to work at Mondragon for the people in Spain, or to go to study to Mondragon, or is it as usual?
Yes, but to work is to work today. It's a privilege. Yeah, in all the Basque Country and all the Spain. As you know, in Spain, the unemployment ratio is 25%. In the Basque Country, is 13–14%. In that area, in the area of Mondragon, is 10%. So now we are not creating new jobs. We are maintaining the employment that it's important today, but we are not creating. And okay, yes, working in a cooperative, it's for most of the people it's important because we are the first group, the biggest group in the Basque Country. Speaking in workers, we are the 4th biggest in Spain. The cooperatives in the Basque Country and also in Spain had a very good reputation in general, and because we are more resilient and because we pay more than in we pay for blue-collar workers and for technicians, not for directors. Directors are less than outside. And in this case, yes, people wanted. We have thousands of people who wanted to merge to Mondragon, to join Mondragon, but it's not possible today. But I have to tell you again that we are not angels, and that is not a paradise. We have to work, and sometimes, for example, in the last year, 36 companies, 36 cooperatives lose money. Altogether, we earn not a lot of money. I don't know if I have here. Yes. You can see here how is the situation. Before the economic crisis, so in 2007, we earned 792 million euros. Okay, net profits. But in 2008, only 71 million euros. In 2009, only 61. In 2010, 178. And last year, only 125 million euros. This year, we are thinking to earn only 100 million euros. That is not, for me, individually, it's a lot, but not for Mondragon, because we have to reinvest and we have to create new jobs in order to create wealth within the society. And in this case, there is not easy. Last year, 36 companies lose money. But I can remember that in 2006, that we have good profits, 10 cooperatives lose money. In 2007, 12 cooperatives lose money. So it depends which sector you are doing. Sometimes, for example, the machine tool sector, in the last 3 years, it was a very good year, but they know that next year and the next 2 years, it will be bad. Because now it's not easy to invest, because for them, Germany and China are the biggest market, and Germany is stopping, and also in China they have enough machine tools, so this is cyclical, and in this case, but we hope that it will be profitable, and it's because the inter-cooperation, and it's also because we are the members and we have the future in our hands. So being part of a group and being part of cooperatives, we believe that it's more consistent, more resilient, more competitive than working in a conventional company.